part 2, and which is this picture here. Hold on.
Okay.
Ooh. So it's a very simple picture, but actually, as you know, it is a simple picture. You don't have much to talk about, so it could be tough and challenging.
I think in this sort of situation, it's important to look at everything in the picture because there's not really a lot. Sometimes you'll have a complicated picture and kind of just pick out one or two things to focus on. But here you can talk about pretty much the whole thing, I think.
So Teji says, in the middle of the picture, a woman wear a purple shirt pointing one document on screen. Okay, Teji, so it's going to be your test day soon, right? Don't try to say, yes, so many things at once. Teji, one by one. So you have to say, in the middle of the picture, there's a woman. One sentence. She is wearing a purple shirt. One sentence. She is pointing at some document. That's one sentence. So all in all, you could have said 3 sentences, but you're trying to put them all in together at one sentence.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that you need to work on.
Yeah, keep them short and easy for this one.
Yeah. And try to give some comments for this one here.
Okay, this is the picture taken in a classroom, I guess. There are 3 people in the picture. There is 1 man and 2 girls. In the middle of the picture, I can see a girl pointing at some pictures. Okay, I'm not sure if I would say she's pointing at pictures, but...
Because it's one thing she's pointing at?
Yeah. Well, also, it doesn't really look like pictures. It looks more like documents.
Yes.
Although, I don't think that's a really huge thing, you know. Overall, I say that was very well done in that... What Hyun?
Yes, Hyun.
What Hyun did there, she broke it up into small, easy sentences.
That's pretty well done.
Yeah.
What I would tell you is, Hyun, your answer is pretty much all well done. If you speak it, I think it's going to be more natural because you said something like, I guess, in the middle. Sounds very natural. So good.
Yeah.
And Hyun, you said something more saying the others are looking at her. Maybe they're making a presentation together. But the thing is, when you put these 2 paragraphs together, it's too short because you have to speak for 45 seconds. And if you want to tell like story for 45 seconds, there's got to be more detail. And if you want to say more detail, you got to go one by one, telling the woman has blonde hair, she's wearing jeans, the guy has brown hair, and he's wearing a hooded jacket or
a hoodie.
So try to provide more detail so you can like fulfill the time, which is 45 seconds. Okay. And moonTv.
Alright, moonTv 파트 2에서 사진 소멸 때 사람 배경 숨이 좋나.
You know about that.
Does the order matter if you talk about the people or the things around it? I think it's best usually to pick out a main thing, usually the center, and then go around from that. So like Hyun said, there's a person standing, there's 2 people sitting down, there are some empty chairs, and then you can say there's a projector on the ceiling, I can see windows in the background. So it's usually good to start in the middle and then go out.
All right, so it's normally start in the middle, go out, and also the center of the attention should be people. Not anything around it, like windows and the wall up back there are not so important. So this is what I would do, and I assume that I would get level 8 on this test. Listen carefully to my answer. Well, this is a picture taken at a meeting room, and there are 3 people in this picture. In the middle of the picture, I can see a woman. She has brown hair, and she's wearing glasses and a purple shirt. She is standing up and talking. She is pointing at a document on a wall. And on the right side of the picture, I can see 2 people. One of them is a woman. She has blonde hair. She's crossing her legs. And one of them is a man. He's wearing a blue hoodie and he is using a laptop computer. And both of them are looking at the woman standing in front of them. And in the background of the picture, I can see big windows. And on the upper side of the picture, I can see some light. And maybe they're having a meeting. Maybe they're talking about their work. Okay.
Work.
Because I was seeing the time.
Yep.
There was like 1 second reminding it. I didn't want to say work. I want to say work.
Work.
So what I was trying to do was try to describe the picture, more centralizing the people, like trying to focusing more on the people. Oh, you know what? This is a question that you should ask. Should we speak American English or British
English in TOEIC speaking?
You know what? Recently I've been doing some research on British English, British English,
Okay.
and you know what? Oh, let me. So, there's a quite difference between British English and American English.
Yes.
I think the more about it is more like an intonation kind of thing.
Intonation and also pronunciation.
Intonation
Both are
and
big.
pronunciation. I'm sorry.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter as long as you're speaking English, people would understand. So although you might be speaking American English or British English, I think the problem here is whether to keep it from the beginning to the end, the American way of speaking English and the British way of speaking English, because there's always dialect. Whichever language you speak, there's always a dialect. And when dialect goes here to there and there to here, it's so confusing, right? So try to keep it one way. If you're going to go for American English, go there like us.
Yeah. Whichever one you're more comfortable with, try to stick with that one.
Stick with that. Stick with one way. Not here, there, here, there. So British accent is not a problem. New Zealanders, like Australians, they have their own accents, Aussie accent kind of thing, Kiwi accent. Doesn't matter. As long as you're speaking English, people are going to understand you, right?
Yeah.
And for me, the toughest English was South African English or Indian English.
Well, yeah, because with both of those, I've met people here in Korea who are, native English teachers who are from South Africa. But honestly, I think their English is kind of strange because really the primary language in South Africa is Afrikaans, which is like a mix from Dutch. So they speak English well, but it kind of sounds like someone from Europe speaking English.
Shall we move on?
What?
Shall we move on?
Yes.
So different accent has different soundness. Shall we move on is more softer way of saying. But some people might say, shall we move on? Kind of. Alright, so MoonTV says 옆 사람 목소리 페이스 말리는 게 싫어서 재웠을 때 유독 종로 덕분 같아요. Well, you know what, MoonTV, it's not your choice to be in a separate room. They would sometimes give you a separate room and sometimes not. So actually, you would have to get used to speaking English with somebody speaking next to you.
Yeah.